Am I the asshole for breaking up with my fiancé because I could not deal with his mother anymore and he refused to see it? Okay. Spill it. What's your take on this mess? Is this okay? Comment your raw reactions or any wild drama you've survived. Throwaway account because a few people involved use Reddit. 3 weeks ago, I ended my engagement. It was not something I did lightly, and I still catch myself second-guessing it, even though I know deep down it was the right call. My ex-fiancé and I had been together for 3 years. We lived together, got engaged last year, and were planning a small wedding for later this fall. We had our differences like any couple, but there was one thing that had been bothering me for a long time. His mother. She was always involved. First, it felt like she was just being friendly, trying to get close. But it did not take long before it started to feel like something else entirely. She would show up to our apartment several times a week unannounced and always stayed longer than she needed to. What started as quick visits to drop something off slowly became her just sitting around our place for hours, commenting on things. And those comments were never outright cruel, just calculated. Subtle little remarks that were clearly meant to get under my skin while sounding completely innocent on the surface. She would say things like, "You look tired lately?" Or, "You are not much of a cook, are you?" Or she would make passive remarks about how clean the apartment used to be when it was just him living there. It was always something every time. First, I tried to laugh it off. Then I brought it up to him. I told him that I was starting to feel uncomfortable, like she was trying to make me feel small in my own home. He brushed it off and said I was overthinking things, that she did not mean it that way, and that she was just trying to help. The problem was this kept happening. I started to dread seeing her, and it got to the point where I could not relax in my own home. I asked him gently if he could talk to her, just ask her to call before visiting or maybe scale back how often she came over. He got defensive and said I was trying to come between him and his family. After that, I stopped bringing it up. I just kept swallowing it and trying to keep the peace, telling myself maybe I was being too sensitive. But it wore me down. It was not just her visits. It was how he never once stood up for me or even acknowledged what I was feeling. I felt alone, like I was the only one trying to make things work. The final straw was the day she came by again, unannounced, and made some comment about how he must be starving since I had not cooked that day. He laughed. I did not. That night, I told him I could not do this anymore. I told him I loved him, but I did not feel loved in return, not in the way I needed. I did not feel like he had my back. I did not feel like he saw me. I left 2 days later and moved in with my sister. He has since told people that I threw away a good man because I could not handle his mother. His family is convinced I was insecure and jealous. My friends and family have supported me, but I cannot lie. There is still a small part of me that wonders if I gave up too soon. Maybe I should have just stuck it out and tried harder. Maybe I was too emotional. But then again, maybe I just finally chose peace. So, Reddit, am I the asshole? Commenter 1. Not the asshole. Mommy's boys are unappealing. These men do not want a partner. They want a caretaker. And the mother is not giving up her throne. Laughing out loud. They need a caretaker because someday the mother will not be there. But until that day, you are second fiddle. Original poster, this is not exactly the same, and I have told it to someone on Reddit before, but this situation only gets worse. I dated the biggest mama's boy ever in my mid-20s. I had an abusive childhood, so initially, I loved that my boyfriend was close with his mother. I thought it was great that she cared about him until I realized she literally still took care of him. He felt sick. I made his favorite Jewish soup, but she had already express shipped his real favorite soup from his favorite Jewish deli to him. He did not have time to grab something from the store. She screened, interviewed, and hired someone to do his errands for him, and to be clear, this was along with the voice coach, personal trainer, house cleaner, healthy lunchmaker, and laundry collector, washer, and dry cleaner who she had already screened, interviewed, hired, and paid for on a weekly basis. He had allergies. She thought his rent-controlled apartment could be contaminated, and hired some sort of private hazardous materials team to chemically test the entire living space while simultaneously funding his stay in a luxurious long-term hotel. Meanwhile, I was in graduate school working 1 full-time job and holding down 2 part-time jobs. On Valentine's Day weekend, I drove to join him in the hotel. He was so absolutely convinced that he had been exposed to some sort of mold or other phantom thing you can inhale that he straight up admitted to forgetting about Valentine's Day. But do not worry. His mother selected, purchased, and sent me his gift. That is when I realized that even though I independently raised a 6-month-old, a 4-year-old, and myself beginning 3 weeks after my 8th birthday, I would far rather return to my independence than, at some point, gain full-time custody of the current 37-year-old infant. Laughing face emoji. Postscript. I know everyone needs to know about the gift. Laughing out loud. I always drank my coffee in bed, so I happily and excitedly woke up, until realizing I needed to go to the frustrating lobby for coffee. I got it, and when I came back, there were roses on my pillow. I was so thrilled and absolutely elated, until I realized his mother paid a housekeeper to decorate our bed. I had a full-on live-in ghost. I will give credit where credit is due. The flowers were creepy as hell, but I have been wearing that gorgeous necklace for a decade. Commenter 2. You threw away a boy, not a man. A boy playing house. You need an adult partner, and that is not him. He might grow up someday, but do not count on it. This kind of thing can go on for decades. Getting out was good. Personally, I would speak up for myself when he criticizes you, saying you threw away a good man because you could not deal with his mother. I would like to see you get nasty. That would be entertaining but not healthy. Respond that you loved him and would have loved to marry him if he grew up. No one will be good enough for his mother unless she is a doormat or a traditional wife. And this pointing up emoji is what I would reply if he is being such a jerk and commenting about you to others. No one will be good enough for mommy unless she is a doormat or a traditional wife. Love this, by the way. And I would add, for my self-esteem, I choose neither. I would also comment that I was content to part ways amicably, but your ex-fiancé has chosen to bring this up, so you will defend your choices. Commenter 3. Yes, original poster, not the asshole. I love my mother-in-law. She visited our house once 6 years ago and has not been back since. We visit monthly for Sunday dinners, which are always a hoot. She is ditzy and fun. She is younger too, only 57, as she had my husband at 21. His grandmother is my favorite. Also young, she is 73. I encourage him to visit more, but monthly just works best for schedules and he calls weekly. We have only had one disagreement. She wanted grandchildren, and we are child-free and remaining so. He shut that down so fast I got whiplash. I did not even say anything. I was shocked, and he immediately jumped in and said, "No, ma'am, no kids. We have said that. End of conversation. Your ex-fiancé was a mommy's boy and did not have a backbone. If he did, he would be on your side, not hers. It also stands out that it was small things that built up, and he did not say anything. I am sorry that your relationship ended, but there will be someone out there who has your back." Someone on Reddit said, "When a woman replaces you with peace and not another man, that relationship is over." Glad she ended it with the mama's boy. I do not even understand that mentality. I have 4 boys. I love my children, but once they are ready, I am so throwing themselves into the real world. They're fully trained, housebroken selves. My friend taught her boys how to cook and clean and look after themselves. She told them that no good woman wants a helpless man, and once the shine wears off, she is not going to keep scrubbing the mud tracks out of his underwear. Commenter 4. Tell people you dumped him because you could not get him off his mother's breast. What a pathetic mama's boy. Forget him and celebrate. You dodged a bullet. Tell him you hope they will be very happy together. Honestly, walking away was the right call. If he cannot set boundaries with his mother now, it only gets worse later. It is not a case of he cannot. He will not set boundaries because he did not care enough to listen when the original poster said his mother was constantly making the original poster miserable. He did not care that the original poster was miserable or how it made the original poster feel. His mother was on his side and keeping the original poster pecked down, so the original poster felt she had to do better and run after him. Well done, original poster, enjoy the peace. Commenter 5. You told him how you felt, and he dismissed your feelings. You did the right thing. I'm sorry you went through this. He absolutely should have had your back and set boundaries. You made the right choice. Commenter 6. He proved that you could never rely on him to have your back. Even after you said something about it, he did not change. You gave him a chance. Well done on choosing yourself. Why on earth should you handle his mother? And who are you meant to be jealous of? His mother? That is disgusting. If they think you were jealous of his mother, then they really need to look at why that might be. Maybe he is a bit too close to his mother. Commenter 7. I left my significant other over a year ago. It was absolutely the right decision, but I still questioned it for ages. It is just hard to walk away from that level of intimacy with someone. From your post, you did not leave because of his mother. You left because he never had your back and did not listen to or acknowledge your concerns. That is what you focus on, his deficiencies as a partner. Do not worry about what his friends and family think or say. Focus on yourself, your healing, and your community.